Live ice hockey coming up next Saturday, the semi-final of the Benson & Hedges Cup, Cardiff against Newcastle. Catch all the action live next Saturday night from 6:30 over on Sky Sports 3. Here now live on 1, we have Paul Lloyd against Francis Ampofo, our top of the bill this Saturday fight night for the Commonwealth and vacant British Bantamweight crowns. We are at the D-Side Leisure Centre on the edge of Chester, just over the border, in fact, in Wales. But not a long journey for Lloyd. Longer journey for Francis Ampofo, the Ghanaian who settled in the East End of London. It's been a stop-start career for Ampofo. Injuries have interrupted his progress severely, but he can make up for lost time tonight if he can make the jump from flyweight champion to bantamweight champion. It could be an excellent fight. Glenn McCrory and Ian Dark after our Master of Ceremonies, John MacDonald.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans and Sky fans, it's the fight of the night time, the main event. Making his way to the ringside now, would you please welcome the challenger, Francis Ampofo.
Well, Francis Ampofo with another chance here to make himself a champion. He's one of the most popular little men in British boxing. Family man and a terrific guy, 30 years of age. But it doesn't matter how likeable he is, popularity is not going to win him these championships tonight. He's already been a British and Commonwealth champion at flyweight, but so far his move to bantamweight, well, hasn't really been that convincing. And that's really the big question mark against him, against a man like Lloyd, who used to be a super bantamweight and obviously carries plenty of power at this weight. Lloyd waiting to make his entrance to the ring, and he is very much the man on home soil. Gene Powell, his trainer, behind him. His base is Ellesmere Port, only about 7 or 8 miles from here, and there are plenty of family and friends of Lloyd waiting to see if he can add the British Championship to the Commonwealth title he already holds.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the Commonwealth champion, Lloyd. Well,
Lloyd certainly starts as favourite, and you can see that he has a massive and noisy following. This is a man whose career seemed to have hit a dead end, but since he moved down to bantamweight, he's won the Commonwealth title, defended it twice, surviving a pretty bad knockdown in his latest defence, and now he looks to become British champion as well, and hopes that this is all by way of preparation for winning a world championship. Seems to be his time, doesn't it, this, Glenn?
Yes, he's very confident, and he's enjoying it all, and I think it is very much his time.
Ampofo 2 years older at 30. Ampofo, one of the smallest men in British boxing at 5'1½". Lloyd a lot taller, both inside the 8-stone 6-pound limit, though that was at a weigh-in 34 hours ago. Something wrong there. Reach advantage for Lloyd. Ampofo's had just the one more fight. He's more experienced at championship level and he's been involved in numerous British and Commonwealth title fights and a world title fight too, Ampofo. Better knockout percentage for Lloyd, who seems to have a bit of a dig, particularly with his body punching. The rules, normal ones for a fight in a British ring. No 3 knockdown, no standing 8. The mandatory 8 count, which is new in this country recently. Only the referee can stop it. A bell will save the fighter who's in trouble or on the floor only in the last round.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans and Sky fans, this is the main event. 12 rounds of boxing for the Commonwealth and vacant British Bantamweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is sponsored by Vauxhall Motors Limited and live and exclusive here on Sky Sports. You've joined us for the very best ringside seat in the business. All the officials have been appointed by the Commonwealth Council and the British Boxing Board of Control here present with us at ringside. So, sports fans and Sky fans, here we go then. Firstly, and introducing to you, fighting out of the blue corner. He's wearing the solid white trunks and weighing in at 8 stone 5 3/4 pounds. He brings a 20-fight record, 15 wins, 10 by way of knockout, and only 5 defeats. He's a former British and Commonwealth flyweight champion from Ghana, now based in Bethnal Green, East London. Would you please welcome the pocket battleship, Francis Ampofo. And ladies and gentlemen, the champion fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing the green trunks trimmed with white. He weighed in at 8 stone 5 3/4 pounds. He brings a 19-fight record, 16 wins, 12 by way of knockout, and only 3 defeats. He's the current Commonwealth Bantamweight champion, fighting for the Vauxhall Motors Amateur Boxing Club in Ellesmere Port. Ladies and gentlemen, he's your very own Paul Lloyd. Our supervisor is Mr. Dennis Lofton. Our timekeeper is Mr. Colin Roberts. And when the action begins, our referee in charge is Mr. John King. So stand by, sports fans and Sky fans, because we're going to raise some hell at the sound of the bell. With 12 rounds of boxing for the Commonwealth and vacant British Bantamweight Championship.
Well, there's plenty of intensity out there as John Keane gives his final instructions. They look as if they can't wait to get going.
Yes, but also you notice the size difference there. You have a massive advantage for Lloyd, height and reach. Also, he's come down from super bantamweight, so you said 32 hours since the weigh-in, so you'll expect him to be a lot heavier than Francis Ampofo at this point.
Paul Lloyd, the Commonwealth Bantamweight champion, who calls himself Live Wire in the green trunks. Francis Ampofo looking to win his first championship at this weight, having been a British and Commonwealth champion down at flyweight. In his last 2 title fights, Lloyd has had his opponent on the floor in the first round. Body punching has become a speciality for Lloyd. But he can be flawed himself, as Simfawi Panana showed in his last fight, and there you saw the right hand of Ampofo seem to just rock Lloyd a little.
Well, we said in the build, if he gets dragged into fight a little bit, and that's what's happening already, and he's caught with a good shot. Ampofo just seemed to wobble the legs of Lloyd for a second there.
Ampofo is a really entertaining fighter. Walks forward, piles in the pressure. Has he still got it at 30 years of age and at this weight? He's already hurt Lloyd early on with his right hand. Height and reach advantages for Paul Lloyd, the local man here.
Certainly no feeling out in this opening round, straight down to business.
Lloyd busier. That last fight that Lloyd had, though, against Pamana was a tough one, and he's needed the 6-month break to recover from it, but Ampofo is making some inroads here. Heard him again. He's all over the place, Lloyd, here, and Ampofo will not stop throwing leather. Well, this is a turn-up.
And this is a terrific start from Ampofo. He's hurt Lloyd in this round a couple of times. The legs have looked shaky, and he's very flat-footed, Lloyd.
He really sets his feet, plants his feet, Ampofo, when he throws these punches. And he's definitely making a dent in Lloyd in this opening round. Lloyd's continued to work and work at a furious pace. It's a great opening round.
Very good, but the legs of Lloyd still don't look that steady.
Good right hand there from Lloyd as well. Well, that was a round of feverish intensity, and Lloyd was twice in trouble.
Well, a brilliant start from Ampofo. That's what he would have wanted. He got right, started very well. Big right hand there. Look at the legs all over the place there. Has to steady himself up. Good punches. Really whipped the right hand, just curled it over top of the jab. And certainly Lloyd did well to keep upright.
But in between all of that, Lloyd did a lot of good work himself, didn't he? Never stopped working.
Yes, he was throwing good punches, but then certainly the more solid punches and the more eye-catching punches were from Ampofo. It was a very good opening round with both of them having to work very hard.
And you and I have disagreed. You've given the first round to Lloyd, have you? No.
Sorry,
you mismarked your card.
Ampofo, I give the round to.
Me too, yeah. Second round, green trunks of Lloyd, white of Ampofo. If it carries on like this, this may be a memorable fight. Ampofo is a real little battler. You can't help but admire him. He won the British Championship. He lost it. He regained it. He won the Commonwealth title. Had to give it up. Regained it. Lost it again. Lost in a world title fight against baby Jake Matlala as well. Keeps on coming back somehow. Not many people really believed that he would come back again.
One of the things you have to watch from Lloyd as well is cuts. He has been a little susceptible to cuts. And there was rumours that there was some sort of scar tissue from a training. Well, whether that's true or not, we don't really know. As I said that, he's dabbing at his eye, so I don't know if he has picked up a little bit of damage.
Well, I'll have a closer look at that. It's hard to see under the lights at the moment whether Lloyd has maybe just picked up a cut. There's another good right hand from Ampofo in there. There's just a little bit of purple marking when he came into the fight by one of his eyes, Lloyd, which suggested he may have just been damaged around the eye in training for the fight. It's been a recurring problem in his career. And there is blood. Yes, there is blood. Good spot there by the left eye of Lloyd. He was dabbing away, wasn't he, early in the round, and with due cause. It's a good start this for Ampofo.
Yes, it's always a natural thing fighters do when they think they have an injury. That's the first thing they do is dab their eye, and I just noticed him do it. But Lloyd changed his tactics in this round. He's always been told by Dean Powell to get on his bike a little bit, give a little bit of room between himself and Ampofo, and start using his height and his reach a little.
Ampofo will like to get inside if he can and wade away to the body. Natural tactics for him. He's such a small man. Lloyd has the disadvantage, as everybody does when they fight Ampofo, of having to punch down at him, which can sometimes make it difficult to get the same kind of leverage and power. Didn't have to punch down with the uppercut, though.
No, he didn't. These tactics are working better now for Lloyd. He's got a little bit more room. He's starting to tee his punches up better and catch Ampofo coming on.
Furious pace. It's a good right hand by Lloyd, who's beginning to do better despite sustaining the cut. So if Lloyd is to prevail here, done it after overcoming some real problems early. Welcome back to the D-side centre, where we have the British and Commonwealth Bantamweight Championships being contested here. Is this where the cut happened here? Maybe a clue. Let's have a look.
Well, there was a right hand went in. It just didn't look heavy enough for me to have caused the cut.
Cuts on the left eyebrow. The evidence was inconclusive, I think, there. He's just prone to cuts. It could have just been one of the jabs or something that opened it up. Ampofo, the white trunks, the green of Paul Lloyd. Bit of low blow there from Lloyd, just keep it up. He says that's a really good left hook though from Lloyd, but Ampofo's spirit will not be quenched. Lloyd, who likes to base himself in plush hotels, lock himself away from his family while he's doing his work for these fights. Nasty training regime and looking to make it play in the ring. But I think Ampofo will sense that tonight is a surprise and last chance for him.
Yes, I'm sure he feels like that now. I think by the start, you know, he realized this could be a last chance. He started very, very well. In the Feeney fight that he lost, he laid off in the first few rounds, and I think he's learned a lesson from that, and he certainly started a lot better in this fight.
He's got the name of his son, Samson, written on the front of his shorts, Ampofo. And his daughter's name on the back, Olivia.
Lloyd trying to keep it at long range, plenty movement, and just keep sticking out the long range punches. And I think he's got to try and avoid getting caught up in a fight.
It's good strategy that from Lloyd, because Ampofo likes to walk in at you throwing punches all the time. He's just trying to keep him on the end of that jab, make him think on the way in.
Yes, but he's got to keep busy, because he's got to keep Ampofo at bay, and he hasn't got to let Ampofo get set, because Ampofo's looked dangerous with the looping overhand right.
Just a suggestion maybe at this stage that Lloyd is beginning to solve the problems. Keeping up a very high work rate, and in that respect almost beating Ampofo in his own game.
Lloyd starting to get a little bit more of a rhythm and starting to get his punches off better.
One or two of the blows from both of them straying on the low side there. John Keane just having a quiet work, but not wanting to interrupt the action. Lloyd's round, I think. Welcome back to a very noisy and now pretty packed D-side leisure centre. This is the corner of Paul Lloyd, the Commonwealth champion, looking to become British champion tonight. The championship, by the way, had to be given up by Drew Doherty because of injury after a 5-year reign.
And Lloyd landing quite a few more punches.
Our spies in the Paul Lloyd corner tell us that the cut isn't too deep, and they think they've got it under control. Mick Williamson doing some good work in Paul Lloyd's corner. Mick Williamson, the London cab driver, well-known figure on the scene.
But Lloyd's having to work very, very hard here to keep Ampofo at bay. It's a high work rate from both these boxers.
Good body shots again from Lloyd. They've worked well for him in his Commonwealth Championship reign. He is a bit of a reborn fighter, Paul Lloyd. But Ampofo will just keep on trying to pressure him, and Lloyd may well have to sustain this work rate the whole way through to keep this little man who calls himself the pocket battleship away from him.
I think Lloyd may well be taken by surprise by the strength of Ampofo. I think he may well have expected to be a little bit stronger than Ampofo, but it hasn't looked that way. Certainly with Ampofo pushing forward, looking strong.
Because when fighters move up, as Ampofo has done, from fly to bantam, it sometimes takes them the best part of a year before they grow into the new weight. I just wonder whether maybe tonight Ampofo is really graduating as a proper bantamweight.
Yes, whether he's just starting to feel that extra weight, that extra strength. He's certainly boxing like that, but again, these tactics are much better now from Lloyd, who's adopted the jab and move, and then the long-range boxing, which is working well for him.
Ampofo, I'm sure, will be looking to cut off the corners to try to find an answer to this possibly winning strategy of Lloyd's.
Lloyd, when they get in close now, Lloyd having more success.
Action, not everything's landing, it's not all clean, but the number of punches being thrown is phenomenal. Crowd thoroughly captivated by all of this.
More live USPGA golf coming up on Thursday night next. The Tour Championship featuring the top 30 money earners in the US Tour. All the big names present, including all 4 major winners. Live and exclusive coverage starting Thursday night at 8 over on Sky Sports 2. Here now, Lloyd against Ampofo into round 5, and it's developing into a thriller. Here's Ian.
You're not wrong, Paul. Back to the action. Ampofo in the white trunks, Lloyd in green. Lloyd from Ellesmere Court, Ampofo, the Ghanaian who's lived in the East End of London now for the last 17 years, fighting out of Bethnal Green. Good right hand there from Ampofo.
And this is a lot better now from Lloyd. You sense he's just growing in strength a little bit. That's how I've got it. A full pointer. Pointing ahead.
But it's one of those fights where you sense there may be changes in the pattern and the mood, possibly. We may only have seen the opening couple of chapters. Looking uppercut. I'm not sure whether it really got through from Lloyd.
Well, Lloyd has to be careful when the head's coming very close there. Him being the taller man, he tends to get the head in the face.
He's so cut prone as well. Corner have done a good job with his cut that he sustained in round 2. Constant chanting for their man, Paul Lloyd. He's obviously gathering quite a following in these parts. Lloyd, for the most part, managing to keep the action on the outside where he would be happiest. And Ampofo, I think, wants to get inside, bustle away, and work some body punches. Good right hand from Lloyd.
Yes, Lloyd's working better inside now. He's getting his punches off. Good uppercut. He's having good success with the right hand over the top. And there's just not as much coming back from Ampofo.
Ampofo really caught Lloyd early on, but now he's just marginally being outboxed by Lloyd. Lloyd's used his jab very well.
Good boxing from Lloyd there, turning his man coming off the ropes.
Is Ampofo running out of ideas? Lloyd's round, and he's beginning to pull away at this stage.
Well, certainly from his tactics now, Paul Lloyd having a lot better success. Boxing for the most part at long range, but now starting to just come in a little bit and start mixing it up and getting the better of it inside. Some good right uppercuts, some good right hands over the top. But Ampofo's still there and still throwing punches back, and this really is a good little contest.
Lloyd, who will feel that this is prime time in his career. Ampofo showing that he can still be dangerous, but whereas his punches in the first round were shaking up Lloyd, I didn't seem to be doing that just at the moment. That was the round 5 printout, only for that round, and Lloyd landing over twice as many punches.
Yes, he's a lot busier now. He's getting his punches off well. Starting to grow in confidence after that shaky first round.
Round 6, due to go 12, of course. And a lot on the line for both of these fighters here. Paul Lloyd, who will hope that these championships are the launch pad for a world championship assault somewhere down the road, something that would have been completely undreamt of about a year ago. For Ampofo, it might be a last hurrah unless he can conjure up a victory. At the moment, he seems to have problems in the fight. Good body shots from Lloyd as well.
Yes, that was a classic combination from Lloyd. A couple of punches to the head, switch with a left hook to the body.
And remember, it was a body shot, a wicked one, that knocked out that South African Libo and Coco after about 101 seconds in his first defense of the Commonwealth title.
Well, Ampofo still pressing forward, but Lloyd reacting well when his back hits the ropes and turning.
At the moment, you'd say that Paul Lloyd looks to have things under control. That could change. Good body shot again, ramming home from Lloyd.
Showing good boxing skills here, Paul Lloyd, using good use of angles, switching from side to side, just changing the angle that he punches at.
Caught by one as well. Just a reminder from Ampofo that he's still around. Can Ampofo just find one punch that maybe will rock Lloyd, get him going, and maybe give Ampofo a way back in? Again, a good uppercut, good repertoire Lloyd showing. There's a lot of self-belief about him these days.
Another good body punch. That left hook to the body's worked well for him.
Lloyd's winning these rounds, and he's building up a commanding lead, particularly, well, we're sitting on the safe side of the ropes anyway. I wonder what Barry McGuigan's making of things.
Yeah, and I think that Lloyd is beginning to settle down again. His legs really took an awful shaky start because of that right hand, and he didn't go down, but he was badly hurt. He's now beginning to find his balance and his equilibrium's coming back. He's also beginning to find Ampofo and starting to get through Ampofo's tight defence. We talked about how difficult and dangerous it is to punch down on somebody. He's now beginning to come to terms with that. He's feeling the, he's breaking through, and in this round in particular, he was able to break through with body shots. We see the perfect shot just in the floating ribs there, and he's really doing great. But listen, he looks very shaky and vulnerable, so anything can happen.
Thanks a lot, Barry. 14-4 on the body shots landed in that round for Lloyd, who now has another cut by the left eye, we've noticed. There are 2 cuts by his left eye now, and nothing that seems to be bothering him too much at the moment, and Mick Williamson has been a bit of a hero for him in that corner tonight, hasn't he?
Yes, he's working very well, stopping the flow of blood. Very important to have a good cuts man. Well, Ampofo now needs to try and find another gear. He's got to try and put more pressure on Lloyd, and that's how I've got it now. Lloyd's starting to run away. I've got him winning the last 5 rounds, so starting to get a big lead on the points.
Ampofo, by the way, is bidding to become the oldest man to win the British Bantamweight Championship since Davy Lama, the Irishman, back in 1983. Keep the punches up. Warning from referee John Keane for Ampofo. Didn't look that low to me, to be honest, but that right hand just seemed to shake the legs of Ampofo.
Yes, that's the first solid punch that seems to have troubled Ampofo.
After a pretty sensational start, we just wonder whether Ampofo has much more to offer in the contest. His punches don't have the same zing or sharpness about them just at the moment.
Lloyd working well, starting to get the confidence, doubling up on that hook to head and body.
Oh, and he's hurt him again with a left hand. Ampofo reeling backwards for a moment, and really having to go through a crisis here now, Francis Ampofo. Lloyd is turning it on. Great variety, splendid repertoire. But look at the courage of Francis Ampofo. This is a real fighter, a proud man.
It's a very friendly little man, but he's all business in there. Took a couple of heavy punches in this round, but still working away.
All 3 of Lloyd's Commonwealth title wins have come by stoppage, and he nearly, you felt there, was on the verge of forcing a stoppage of Ampofo in that round. It was Lloyd's biggest round yet.
Just while he's been boxing so well, and now he's finally got a little bit of a breakthrough. A couple of times certainly looked to have tagged Ampofo with good punches. There we see the right hand, just having Ampofo stumbling forward, just a little bit stung by that one. Solid punch on the side of the head. And that was a very good round for Paul Lloyd, mixing them up so well there, doubling the hook up. The left hook to the body's worked very well for him.
3 times as many punches landed in that round by Lloyd. Round 8 as we struggle to make ourselves heard above the din. For live wire Lloyd, a man whose career at one time seemed to be built on shifting sands. But he had those 3 defeats against Chris Clarkson, Richie Wenton, who floored him 4 times in a British super bantamweight title fight. Then he lost to Michael Paris as well. It all seemed to be going wrong, but here he is in command and looking to fulfill a dream of having a Lonsdale belt put around his waist as British bantamweight champion to add to his Commonwealth title. Can Ampofo come back at him?
Well, Ampofo still coming forward. He's trying to go solely for the body now, Ampofo. He just feels he's got to try and weaken Lloyd a little bit, take some of the snap out of him.
Ampofo desperately needs a big round. He's got to do something, and soon, you feel, Ampofo here. Lloyd's been a bit too quick for him as well, hasn't he?
He has. I think when he's changed his style a little bit, Ampofo hasn't really been able to catch up with him, and it's been good that Lloyd's been able to do that. Mix it up, some boxing and then some standing and some slugging, and then change it back again.
So these might not be bad tactics here by Ampofo to go to the body just to slow him down a little bit. Maybe turn those legs into something more resembling wood. And maybe then Ampofo can start to get to him. But from where Ampofo is in the fight at the moment, it's a long way from here to victory, isn't it?
Yes, it's a long way back, but it just takes, in a fight like this, it just takes a good punch from Ampofo, who in the first round proved that he does have the punch power to trouble Lloyd.
This is a better round for Ampofo, best he's had in a long time, best since the first, in fact. And these body punches maybe just are starting to work for him.
Yes, they just appear in this round as if they took a little bit of the snap and the rhythm away from poor Lloyd.
I think that's Ampofo's round, his first in a while. Welcome back. The face of France is Ampofo, George Patrick working his magic in the corner with Freddie King, and he still believes he can do it, I'm sure.
Well, he did a little better in the 8th round. I probably just would have lent to him. It was good work there. He changed his tactics. He started to go to the body. You see there, 12-4 to Ampofo. So poor Lloyd being very confident. He's talked the talk a little bit. Now he's having to walk the walk.
And this is the 9th round. I would think that Ampofo has to win everything from here on in to make this close. Here's Glenn's scorecard, which may confirm the story.
Yes, in a big lead, but maybe a little bit of hope for Ampofo, just coming on stronger in the last round.
Interpreted, Glenn has Lloyd 4 rounds ahead with 4 to go. On his feet, Lloyd. Doesn't look quite as effective though now, Lloyd.
Well, this fight being fought at a very hard pace, and it's obviously starting to get to Lloyd. He's had to work a little harder because he's had to move so much. So maybe the effects, he's starting to feel it a little bit.
8 stone, 6 pounds is the bantamweight limit. And believe it or not, they weighed in for this fight at midday yesterday, 34 hours ago. And there has to be something wrong with that, even bearing in mind the safety regulations. Goodness knows what weight they came into the ring at. Maybe we should be told.
I certainly think that would suit the heavier man. for Lloyd that little bit more.
Hour weigh-in is one thing, 34-hour weigh-in quite another. Good uppercut from Ampofo there as he backed away. Lloyd just looking as if he's starting to tire. And Ampofo, experienced little campaigner that he is, will sense that. Not a lot in this round at the moment, is there?
Well, this is a lot closer to score, this one. Both their work's been a little bit ragged. Lloyd just wipes the eye again.
Big left hook from Ampofo there. Hard to split them on that one anyway. The work continues on Lloyd's cut eye. 2 cuts we think there now. And he's had that since round 2. Ampofo unmarked. Well, that kind of confirms what we were thinking, that it was maybe an even round, that last one.
That's 15 each. There's a little bit more ragged work. Lloyd looking a little bit tired, not getting his punches off.
Ampofo, by the way, has had Herbie Hyde, the heavyweight, WBO heavyweight champion, as his training partner for this fight.
Well, nothing like getting preparation with a bigger man. And Herbie's certainly a bigger man. With the little and large show in the gym, I think.
It really is. I think Herbie's godfather to one of the children. Ampofo will look to turn on the pressure again. I'm sure his corner will have said, look, you're behind, you've got to win everything. Ampofo had those 3 early career battles with Robbie Regan, who continues to have illness and injury problems that keep him out of action.
Lloyd's trying to use the ring. Good footwork, and Ampofo has to try and cut it off. Good left hook from Ampofo.
Good shot. Lloyd took it well that time. But this is a different fight now than it was in the 7th round. The problem for Ampofo is this too late? It might be.
But poor Lloyd just working away with his arms there. Little tiny motions like he was trying to beat an egg.
Well, both of them now having to dig deep into their reserves. This is where all the monastic training and conditioning pays off for a fighter. If it hasn't already.
This is again better.
He's getting there, Ampofo, now.
Yes, again better for Ampofo. He's just starting to, you know, he's got better rhythm in this round. I think Lloyd's maybe feeling the effect a little more.
Lloyd has this strange idiosyncrasy where he kind of pokes out his tongue. He's not doing it at Ampofo. It seems to almost be like a kind of involuntary action.
Well, good action, but I think Ampofo just doing the more in this round.
No judges to decide here, just referee John Keane. How is he seeing it, we wonder? body shot from Lloyd in there. But for me, Ampofo nicked that one as well. Agree, Glenn?
Yes, I just thought Ampofo was the busier in that round. It just looks as if Lloyd is a little bit more tired as these rounds go on. He's had to work very hard, a lot of evasive work, a lot of use of the ring, and that takes an awful lot out of you.
The truth may be, though, that Ampofo already needs a knockout to win.
I think he does. I think he needs a stoppage, but certainly a very good finish.
Or at least to have Lloyd on the floor once or twice.
There we see the big left hook early in the round, and that was a very heavy punch.
Now watch the way he pokes his tongue out. He does this a lot. It's sort of like a Maori war dance, isn't it? Here's round 11. Can Ampofo continue his comeback? Is he too far behind anyway? Answers coming up.
You see the poking the tongue out in idiosyncrasy. I wonder how much that is down to weight loss or drying out. You know, whether he's starting to feel a little bit dry inside his mouth. I wonder if that could be an effect.
Interesting theory.
And now still got Lloyd in a comfortable lead. But with Ampofo coming on strong, it's just getting a little bit closer.
Very grueling fight, fought at a furious pace. What a show these two put on. Ampofo now is the one who's picking the punches better, and he looks to be starting to get to Lloyd. Cooler, more composed work. They're getting a bit worked up over in the Lloyd corner. But only he can fight the battle, of course.
Ampofo's still got the nice rhythm, and that's why he's having better success, and his punches still landing. Where Lloyd looks a little tired and he's snatching, his work's getting a little bit ragged.
I guess at times like this late in a fight, the ring can seem a very solitary place then.
Yes, it certainly is, but I think they're just embroiled in the action now, and they're fighting for the very careers, the championships, everything in there, and that's the emotions. You know, they both just want to keep punching until they hear that final bell.
It's been a fine rally this from Ampofo late on. He needed more of it a bit earlier. Lloyd's fans are trying to lift him. He might almost be wishing they could get in there and help him out at times now.
He's leaning forward, Lloyd, looking tired. He's pushing the arms out, but not many of his punches are scoring.
Not moving so easily as well.
No, he's heavy-legged. Ampofo's still got that little more bounce in his legs.
And just bit by bit, Lloyd with the points lead, but Ampofo reeling him in. Ampofo again.
Again, they have to go to work on the eye. Starting to get a little bit worse. They've done tremendously well to work on it and keep it.
Absolutely great job, haven't they?
Very, very well done.
But what a fighter this little man is, Ampofo.
Yeah, good right hand, and then just turns away. You see, still got the bounce, still got the little bit of spring in his legs, just to evade Lloyd's counter-attack.
Well, I've got it. Let's have a look at this for a moment before I go into that. Nearly 800 punches thrown by Paul Lloyd in this contest. Ampofo a lot less, more landed, we think, too, by Lloyd. And I've got Lloyd 2 rounds ahead with 1 to go. What about you?
I've got it the same, 108, 107 at this point. But you just never know how the referee, John Keane, what he has on his scorecard.
It's getting close-ish. Close enough to make this last round very interesting.
There it is, just 1 point. That's 2 rounds for Lloyd.
Might it all depend on this last 3 minutes? Or does Lloyd simply need to stay on his feet? Ampofo, away from home, maybe sensing he needs a knockout.
There's a lot more blood around the eye now. That's just gotten a little bit dramatically worse in the last few seconds.
Lloyd is desperately trying to get a second win, stage a big finish.
A little bit untidy, they're both desperately tired.
Cut is worse. Lloyd will certainly be glad this is not going any longer than 12 rounds. But Ampofo can't quite find the punches. Lloyd is holding on a lot, trying to deny Ampofo any leverage.
And it looks as if the right eye's cut quite badly now as well, so he's having bad trouble, I think, for Lloyd in the final stages. If this was a little earlier,
he'd have been in bad trouble, wouldn't he?
Very bad shape.
I think John Keane will let him go through now this close. But he's stumbling almost towards the finishing line and hopes that the tape will come soon enough, Lloyd. And Ampofo just can't find the accuracy in this last round. We're inside the last minute. An exciting one this for the British and Commonwealth Bantamweight Championships held in the past by Freddie Gilroy, Johnny Caldwell, Alan Rudkin, the last Englishman to hold British and Commonwealth titles in the weight, Walter McGowan, the late and tragic Johnny Owen.
But Lloyd has terrible damage to both eyes in bad places, and I'm sure if this had been a couple of rounds earlier, the fight would be stopped. I think John Keane just giving him the benefit of the doubt because it is so close to the finish.
The eye damage is gory now.
And whatever happens after that, the damage there is going to keep Lloyd out for quite a while.
And they're saying, hold on now to Lloyd. Just get through to the final bell. There is the bell. Lloyd has got it. Lloyd is British Bantamweight champion to add to the Commonwealth Championship he already holds. And he joins an illustrious list. But my goodness me, he really had to battle for that. And with him is a man who was a hero for him in the corner tonight, Mick Williamson, the Cutsman.
He certainly was, but I think if the both cuts had happened earlier, it would have been stopped. He worked terrifically well, Mick Williams. But I feel a little upset for Francis Ampofo. He worked so hard towards the end of that fight. He held his hands up. He was a little upset he didn't get it, and I don't think it could have been much closer. I give Ampofo the last round, so I think there was maybe only half a point, 1 round in it.
Look at the cuts. Look, you had 1 round in it.
One round, yes.
Yeah, I had 2. 2 for Lloyd, but let's find out what the margin was, because that's interesting. MC John McDonald's waiting to tell us, I think, up there somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 fantastic rounds of boxing, star referee John Keane has scored the contest. For Ampofo, 117.5 points. For Lloyd, 118 points. The Commonwealth and new British Bantamweight champion,
Well, he had it the same, the referee, by 1 round. Lloyd won it by 1 round. He just got home, with Ampofo winning the late rounds, 5 rounds to 4, with 3 even, was how
Ampofo.
John Keane, the referee from Wellingborough in Northamptonshire, scored that. No disagreements there. That roughly concurs with what Glenn and I had. Great effort by Ampofo. Fantastic effort by him. And he so nearly did enough.
A terrific performance in both boxes. They worked so very hard there.
Well, we're going to try and have a word with Paul Lloyd in just a moment. In the meantime, back to you, Paul.
Thanks to Glenn and Ian. I think one of Lloyd's first calls will be to get some needlework done on the eyes, both eyes. But Commonwealth belt retained. That's the one over the shoulder there. And right now he is being fitted up with the new British title belt. It was Drew Docherty who held that belt until so recently. Docherty's misfortune with injury is Lloyd's profit tonight. But what an absolutely superb effort by both men. Barry, I really enjoyed that effort by both. First, your view of the decision.
I think it was absolutely fair. I had it 2 rounds for Lloyd as well, maybe 1, but he certainly deserved to win the fight. But what a tough, grueling fight. There aren't many more like that left in him, I can tell you.
Yes, that's 2 very tough nights in a row. Here's how he's feeling after all of that, talking to Ian Dark.
Well, here is Paul Lloyd, complete with the cuts. That was a close run thing in the end, Paul.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought I won by about 6 rounds. You know, I was boxing, you know, I was keeping it long as much as I could. But when someone comes forward like that, I think, you know, with his wild swings like that, I feel as if I'll get caught if I'm working on the outside. So I felt comfortable, I felt strong inside, although he was working, but not much there, everything was in my gloves. So, you know, and I felt strong in myself right through, but, you know, I've damaged my right hand. I don't know what's actually up with it, but, you know, it's still a bit sore. But, you know, I'm pleased. You know, I've had 6 months off and, you know, just come back and, you know, pleased to get the belt.
Let's go through it. You worked at a tremendous rate. We had you throwing about 800 punches, I think, by about the 10th round. But he seemed to rock you a couple of times in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I always found that when I was in the gym, I was going in the gym about 5 or 6 pounds overweight. And I felt the first couple of rounds, I always felt a bit sluggish. But once I got my weight down to sort of 3 or 4 pounds over the bantamweight limit, I started feeling sharp there. You know, and I've had a lot of intake of fluid, so it took me a couple of rounds to get myself sharp. Although, you know, I've done a lot of work in the changing rooms. But, you know, it's a champion. You know, a champion comes back. You don't expect anything in boxing.
You seem to build up a huge lead, and then in the last 4 rounds he seemed to be reeling you back in, certainly on our scorecards anyway, and we thought it was pretty close at the end ourselves, I must say, with you winning it.
He kept coming forward, throwing wild swings. You know, a few of them hit me, but a lot was hitting me on the gloves. And that's where I thought, well, he had the best opportunity when I was working the range. So I mean, Dean was saying to me, we're behind the jab, but I just didn't feel comfortable in myself. You know, I thought, well, if one of them stupid wild swings catch me, and you know, he wasn't throwing wide swings when I was up close. You know, he was just hitting me on the arms, on the gloves, and you know, fortunately, the referee wasn't scoring them.
Let's give some publicity to a guy who doesn't usually get much. Mick Williamson, your cuts man, there with Dean Powell in the corner. What a job he did for you tonight. Oh,
you know, Mick's tremendous. I mean, I said to Dean at the beginning of the fight, I mean, I said the only way that Francis was going to beat me, you know, was his head. He should stick another glove on his head. But I mean, he gave a courageous performance. You know, he came to fight, and you know, let's give the kid a lot of respect. You know, the kid came to fight, and the kid, you know, kid was more than a worthy challenger.
You've really turned your career around in the last year, and I know you won a world title fight. Do you think that can happen? You need a bit of a rest, don't you, with those cuts first of all?
Yeah, you know, I've got Drew Docherty next. I'll have a bit of a rest. But you know, I'm 28 years of age, and you know, I don't want to fight for the world title. I want to win a world title. You know, competing for the world title means nothing to me if I ain't going to win it. I want to fight for the world title, and I want to win it. You know, and give the fans some Ellesmere Port, give them something to, you know, we've never had one before. We've never had a British champion, a Commonwealth champion, but we've got one now.
Well, the crowd seem to like that. It's been a thrilling time in his career. Frank, what are the chances of engineering a world title opportunity maybe for Paul Lloyd?
Yeah, I think they're very good after tonight's performance. I mean, obviously we got the mandatory against Drew Docherty. We take that out of the way, and I think Europe's his next stop, and then straight after that we'll be in for a world title. I mean, he's highly ranked in the WBC, and that's the most prestige title to go after, and that's the one we'll make a case for him at the convention next week in Spain, and I'm sure we'll get that in early part of 1998.
France taking me on holiday out there. Can I just say a few thank yous? I'd like to thank thank Vauxhall very much for the support. I'd like to thank Sushi Quality Clothing, the Cheshire Oaks Racquet Club, everything, and everybody that's helped me over the last 12 months.
All right, Paul, you've said it. Well done, and congratulations for winning what was a thrilling fight tonight.
I think he's going to be helping himself to a few days' rest, maybe a month or two off. He certainly has deserved it. Lloyd goes from strength to strength, and we also salute a fantastic effort tonight from Francis Ampofo, but he is the man who goes home empty-handed, while Lloyd maybe looks for world honours in the new year. We shall see. Thoughts of Barry McGuigan coming up here, and we also have more from our bill at the Deeside Leisure Centre after this break.